kit on him, so he does have to hurry up just a bit.
He's got to move. And with the fake on the bomb, he's going to move back, trying to catch Anti out, but Anti, he knows better than that. He's playing patient. Now, if T had stuck it, he would have won the round, but unfortunately for him, that was just too risky a play to make, and that's going to allow Orion to cinch up that pistol. Pretty neat T-side execution. That's not very common, like I mentioned earlier, on the pistol, and I'm glad Orion was able to make it work. And that's going to propel them into their first kind of quasi-bye. As long as they can keep this round away from Glockoma, they should be looking at least 4 to 5 rounds, which is a good way to open up your T-side.
Not too shabby. Now they're going to be up against the old CZs. This gun has been seeing a lot of action since the 5.7 nerf. And, you know, it really wasn't picked too often before the 5.7 nerf. It was a very strange gun. People didn't really know how to use it, but I think everybody's kind of figuring out now that you don't have to be a rocket scientist to use it, and it's actually super powerful. Only a matter of time before Valve nerfs it.
After the first CZ nerf, I feel like a lot of people just didn't put in the time to learn how the weapon worked because the 5.7 was so much of a better alternative. Now that that's been nerfed as well, we're seeing again that experimentation coming out, and a lot of the Glockoma players are choosing to use it. Unfortunately, Tomford, he's not picking the right range for that weapon, and so he'll get punished for it. Filthy securing a nice early kill. But interestingly enough, the T-side not really galvanizing off of that. That is until Filthy is going to run out of the bomb site and get domed from ahead, but Anti and Gizzy, they're both going to find one apiece. And that's going to leave the CT side in a pretty tough spot. This force buy not going their way.
I don't know what the hell it was. It was something on Reddit, and they were talking about force buys for CT's second round pistol. And the odds of winning were like, they were like 12% or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, and I almost never see it. I really don't. I couldn't off the top of my head tell you a single time in this entire season so far where a CT pistol round force buy after losing, you know, first round has won them round 2. I can't remember a single one.
That's one of the reasons why teams that are able to force buy well, like LDLC back in the day, are so impressive, because a lot of those force buys, especially like you mentioned, the CT one, are just so difficult to pull off. Now, though, we see a lot of Glockoma hold up on the A-bomb site, and windows are going to be shattering all around them as the T side is starting to formulate a plan for this round.
Sorry, I was typing to our producer there. Yeah, they'll pick this one up for sure. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what are you going to do? He just got USBs here. Maybe death from above, though. His 2 quick kills come out right now. Is this you? Oh, my God. Another shot. The AK gets picked up, and I choke on my words. As Glockoma picking up a round they absolutely should not have won.
Should not have won. Certainly correct. We mentioned odds as low as 12% on winning that force buy, and this is even lower. You have to keep in mind you're going into the round with so much less, not even a CZ tier name. The fact that Glockoma able to pick that up, not only impressive just from a viewer standpoint, but also is going to mean a lot for them in terms of regaining ground and preventing Orion from getting a significant lead.
Oh my God, that sounds so much better.
I'm glad.
What did you do?
It's a cable thing.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's much better now. Op in the hands of T. I really don't know much about the Glockoma boys, so I'm not sure if this guy's a showstopper or not. This is actually the first time I think I've casted the Orion match this season, so it's going to be part of their little effort here. They're 2-2 right now in ESEA-Main, which is decent, and you know they pick this one up next week. It's going to be against some tougher opponents. I'm not sure when it starts to put like the teams that are like 4-0 right now, starts pushing them down into the pile of other teams. When does that usually happen? Like week 4, week 5?
Something along those lines. Now, though, as we see the terrorist side trying to push their way into the A-bomb site, they definitely seem to be favoring it, but they take heavy, heavy losses in that execute. It's going to be almost impossible for them to hold off the post plant, and SGM, he knows that, so he tries to get a couple kills off on the rotation, opting to not even go for the plant. Unfortunately, not quite enough, though, and he'll fall, and that will allow Glockoma to take the round, albeit with significant loss.
He might have been able to get the bomb down there. That extra $800 wouldn't have made too much of a difference here for this round. I don't think they would have bought anything besides pistols anyway, even with that bomb plant money. So this is something Glockoma needs to take advantage of. Like, everybody knows how CT side of this map is. They have made some changes with the introduction of walk outside there, but, you know, 11-4, 12-3 rounds are still not uncommon.
It is interesting how the spirit of the map has kind of lived on in that way, how meta changes can be difficult because a lot of players, their minds are still stuck in the past. It wouldn't surprise me if this map was, in a perfect world, a little bit more balanced than those statistics would let on, but players aren't really coming up with the new strats to properly take advantage of the new aspects of the map yet. As I say that, T and Pal both cleaning up Orion, preventing them from getting anything even kind of resembling a foothold here, and T taking advantage and playing against a force buy in the way that you need to, and that's playing from a super far back range and just plinking off, and that investment is paying dividends for Glockoma right now, as this round is cinched up in a neat little bow.
Well, Anti took out T there, who was actually behind the Junek Sane guy, however the hell you say his name. Pretty funny. I think one of the things they could do, honestly, is make an entrance to upper A from T spawn. Have it be, maybe they'd have to move the spawns around a little bit so that the CTs couldn't set up and prevent Ts from getting in there right away. But almost make it a duel, like a secondary heaven near Marshmallow. You know what I'm saying? So like maybe that's like the mid, so to speak. You know, so if you had an Opper rushing on either, T or CT, they would kind of face off with each other there. I think that might be cool.
It's an interesting thought. You mentioned like the mid of this map, and that is one of the unique things about Nuke because of that top-down structure. It's hard to compare it to other maps, especially what changes you like to make. However, Pow, he's going to come right through the smoke and kind of cut the terrorist attack off from behind, and grabs the bomb in the process and finds an impressive second kill, taking down Filthy as well. Help manages to trade that, but it might be too little too late. The bomb is spotted, the terrorists are down 2 men, and of course the bomb removed completely from his teammates.
Much they could do now. They're gonna have to try to get together here as soon as possible. Gonna say help needs some for sure, as he's gonna be all alone right now, pushing inside of Mini. AK spray does pick off one, but the flank from T gonna be on the side. SGM knows what time it is, so it's gonna be a 1v2. He does have a weapon advantage against Tom Ford. With that bomb picked up here, he could actually make the play, but Jun Sang Ching, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
I'm going with June. I'm going with June. June makes an impressive play to cinch out the round. Although I call it impressive, not really. It was kind of textbook. Exactly how you're supposed to essentially seal off the last remaining player and try to prevent him from doing too much damage to your team. And of course, winning that round, winning that clutch scenario. Now Orion, they're going to be forced onto yet another force buy. This team seems to like those force buys, although it might be a little bit early to tell. But interestingly enough, Filthy, he's going outside over Silo with only a CZ. That's not the weapon for the range. If he had been unlucky enough to run into an offer, his life would have come to an abrupt end.
Well, big shots here. Pao has 3 of them under his belt, and T looking to finish things off with this USP. And I just realized there's 2 players on Glockoma named T.
I'm sure that won't get confusing.
It'd be worse if there was a T player on the other team as well.
So speaking of T,
China.
speaking of T, you mentioned earlier we weren't quite sure of his offing capability just yet, and it does seem like he's putting up numbers for his team, although not anywhere near to being the top fragger. However, that's one of the interesting things about watching these lower level plays, seeing who really stands out at the main level, and just comparing their talents to other well-established professional players in the scene and seeing if they might develop into something like that later on.
Bella L, who's this Mazer kid? He's my brother. We're actually
We're blanket
related.
buddies.
Yeah, blanket buddies. We hide from storms together. We watch Netflix. He's actually behind me right now. Hey, give me 5, dude. Big shots here on the A side as June and looking to hold off the onslaught from the Orion boys, and right now 6-2 Orion. This is kind of the middle of the half, or middle of the round, I guess you could say, where they need to pick up some other rounds. Like if they end this 5-10, I'd say they're still pretty good going into the CT half with that, but like anything less than that, it's going to be tough. There's so much pressure to pick up that pistol round if you're under 5. And right now, they just seem to be, they're not getting the bomb planted. They don't have the extra cash to get any good buys off. They've been on pistols, I don't know how many times now.
This is the weird thing. They just keep force buying. I don't think I've seen a full gun round yet this game, and that is both teams with a full 5 stack of rifles. And that honestly is coming down to Orion's poor economy management. The fact that they're on CZs for, what is it, the 3rd round in a row, it's getting a little old.
Their loss bonus is at full effect, so they'll get 3,400 after this one, even without the bomb plant. So we will see that big buyout, even though like Gizzy only has 1,800, so he's only going to have, you know, what is that, $5,200 total. I mean, that's enough to get an AK and full nades for sure. But look at the side of Glockoma; they're bankrolling right now.
And this is one of the few times we've seen any aggression towards B this half. T in position with the off from CT, ready to shut that down. But the other T with the AK on the bomb site, he's shutting it down. He manages to grab a 4K with June cleaning it up. Insane round from T. That's T the rifler, not T the opper. And Glockoma, they're unstoppable right now. But Orion finally on a full buy. Let's see what they can do now that they have some real artillery in their hands.
Well, no ops, although that is not uncommon for Nuke. T-side opping on this map. You're kind of limited to a couple positions early on, and then post-plant, it's really tough to play anywhere with an offensively.
Especially on Nuke, as
Yeah,
you
that's what I'm
mentioned.
saying,
It's just so much harder than any other map. Even the more claustrophobic ones, maybe like Inferno on the B site, there's usually a couple of angles that you can lock down. Not so necessarily on this map, unless you're very deliberate in what areas you control coming in on your execute.
Get June here playing in a great spot. Unfortunately for him, Filthy's going to find his head and get off. So man down early on for Glockoma. That flashbang going to indicate a push here. Two spray down from Filthy. Big round for Orion. They absolutely needed that one. Not only they picked up, but everybody's surviving. And they picked up an op.
Beautiful. Good stuff, good stuff. Exciting stuff.
You
And
know,
what I
it's,
like now, though, is we're seeing yet another gun round. And I just like that because I feel like it's an elevated level of play. You can definitely get a lot more creative when you have full nades and full guns. And Orion, they haven't really shown any real capability, any real skill with those 4-spot weapons. So now that they have real guns in their hand, I'm hoping we can see this elevated level of play continue for the rest of the game.
Absolutely. Glaucoma's still going to be able to buy even after this round if they lose this one with all the money they have. So Ryan definitely needs to string together a few more. June's been playing in this this position is actually pretty overpowered. I think they should make like that little yellow piece go across there, because you can't see the CT from that angle.
It's something that needs to get naded off. 100% if you want to come to the A-bomb site. There's a good player sitting there, but T, he's proving that it doesn't matter, finding a quick 2. And June will clean up, and T, the opper, coming in from the B site and shutting it down, kind of cleaning up the leftovers. Glockoma completely breaking the momentum of Orion, and definitely going to do something to stifle their economy, at least if they can take this round as well after resetting that loss bonus.
I like T and T for cake and tea time. Isn't that how that goes? When Stewie was trying to memorize the Simon Says thing? Never mind. Somebody, the 850 people watching us right now, someone will know what the hell I'm talking about probably. So it is going to be a buy round here for both squads. Orion would love to pick up 4s. It's getting towards the later end of the half right now. Glockoma is looking very strong with this side though.
Looking almost unstoppable. T with the off, he's going to manage to stop this B push kind of in its tracks, but of course after a moment to recover, Orion still has a good shot at taking ramp here. They just need to remember to use utility to flash out that opper, but instead of doing that, they actually opt to take it back towards the A-bomb site. They know T the opper is posted up there, and they kind of don't want to mess with him because he is having a pretty good half. He's caught up with the top fragger on his team, so they say, you know what, we're going to let you have the B site. The A site is definitely what we're more comfortable with, and so we're going to work our way back towards it.
T number 1 sitting down there right now. Look at this June in that stupid ass spot again. Gets 2 quick ones. It's so hard to react to that. I'm gonna be here to 1v whatever, and he goes down as well. SGM. See, he doesn't have a C in front of his name.
Here's the big problem for Orion. That is, whenever they go towards B, they get scared of T the opper. And whenever they go towards A, they invariably allow 2 of their men to be taken down by June in that same exact spot. If they can't play around it, they at least need to be going to the other site more than they are right now, because they're never going to win in the post plant if they always lose 2 people on the way in.
How do you neutralize that position June's playing, though? The flashbang ain't gonna hit him.
Maybe a Molotov from outside, but definitely, although this wouldn't fully neutralize it, it would certainly be helpful to come in from a different angle and favor Hut a lot less.
You know, big AK spray from T on the outside. His 3 funds almost make that 4 as he's engaged with the CZ, but his brother T is going to help T on the ECT side. Now the T's aren't going to have either T, as this headshot might land from T.
Enough. Stop this, nephew.
Yeah. 10-3. I don't know, man.
I don't know either. Glockoma is looking unstoppable. Orion, they managed to get 1 round kind of stuck in the middle there, but essentially they need to win out for the rest of this half to have a good shot at winning this map, and it's not looking good.
Let's take a look at the scoreboard real quick here. You can see big man on campus is capital T with 17 frags and POW right behind him. So everybody on that squad is doing well. Tom Ford, unfortunately, is 2-5, although he does have very few deaths. Not a lot of frags coming out on his side. Orion does have a buy here, but very limited nades on him. 2 smokes and a Molotov left over as they try to make their way over to Secret.
And this is, at the very least, a little bit of a different angle than what we're used to seeing from them. It's not standard A Hut rush. Hopefully they'll have a little bit more success with it. Now, POW, he is playing outside. And he's, like you mentioned, maybe not been putting up the hugest amount of frags, but certainly having a great deal of impact. And as I mentioned that, he's going to find another one, a headshot on the Gizzy, just to keep the outside secure. And T, the offer, finding a kill as well. Filthy trying to equalize it, manages to take down POW, trade out his teammate's life, but T, with the off, he's right there, and he won't let that go unanswered. Through the glass, he's going to take down Anti.
I'm not sure why they were taking this fight, but to be honest, I feel like they could have pushed into Secret there. Kind of YOLO'd in. They're trying to take these duels here, and there's nobody for the trades, and most of them are just like 1v1s they're putting themselves in. That's going to be the last round of the half here. Orion would love to get 4 on the board. Unfortunately, they're not going to have much to work with. There's going to be a total 4 spy here with pistols and SMGs all around.
Wow. This is really just a broken, terrible, disgusting buy. You never want to have a situation like this where what you're carrying is that varied from person to person. When you have everything from CZ to rifle, but no AK and no op on the board, no real power, no real showstoppers.
Well, Tom Ford going to be here with this auto. He gets absolutely nuked. Op shot from T connects, but Gizzy gets another one. So it's going to be man advantage here for Orion right now. So despite the best efforts and the lack of weaponry, still not doing too shabby here as they're going to pick up that auto op. Wait for the push here, but I don't think Glockoma wants any part of it. They're probably just going to wait for the retake here. They know they're at least over on ramp somewhere.
And when you have a man disadvantage like that, you can't afford to lose anyone to being sloppy. So I definitely can support the decision to kind of go back, play passive, and hope the terrorists run into you and make a mistake on the push in. I do see a lot of teams, they favor when they're down a man on the CT side to just kind of do an aggressive push, maybe get some information, and that's exactly what POW did outside. Unfortunately, it wasn't fruitful, but at least the CTs were kind of able to eliminate an option from their mind. And so now they're going to be heading, they know exactly where the bomb is, and they're all on their way, and they're only down 1 man, so this certainly isn't impossible, especially as June just evens it out that much more.
Yeah, POW going to be coming around from this backside too. That smoke grenade actually going to block a lot of the view from that bomb here. AK from T does get 1. He gets caught with the nade out in his hand. This bomb's getting defused. There it goes. Glockoma gets 13 or 12 rather.
And just to add insult to injury, they mop up and kill everyone else in the end time. If you're Orion, you can't be happy with that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like I said, this map still is pretty CT-sided, so, 12-3 isn't uncommon. Obviously, you'd want 10-5, worst case scenario. Like, right now, they have to win this pistol round to get back into the game. And if they lose pistol but get the bomb planted, I would think that they might be into it as well if they can get a good buyout on the 3rd round and the CTs still have like SMGs and shotguns or whatever else.
Essentially, even if they don't win here, they need to have some deal of success. If they don't, that's going to be curtain call for them. And it also depends a lot on how Glaucoma's T-side is. If they just happen to have an extraordinary T-side, this is also pretty much a moot point for Orion.
Absolutely. Big stack outside right now. They have a couple players in the lobby. Not sure Orion's really privy to what's happening right now. This push inside right into Mini here. They're going to take this engagement one at a time. Shots are coming out. Trades all around. But two fall early on. There's the team kill. Powell looks to even things up. So it is going to be a 2v2 right now. And that bomb is going to get planted. Now only one man alive. Taking shots from two CTs. He's so low. One health. Breathe on him and he dies.
And there's the breath.
So there's the bomb plant. Now this is actually tough because Orion obviously is going to buy here, right? But what are they going to get on that buy? They're going to get FAMAS, no armor, etc. And they're going to go up against probably a full save from Glockoma. Glockoma could force up here to throw off Orion. And since they have so many rounds ahead, they might do it. But it's a very unlikely thing. So Orion can't lose anyone here. They need to get as many rifles as they can.
What's even more important than not losing anyone is they need to make sure none of those rifles fall to Glockoma. We've seen how nasty the riflers on Glaucoma's roster are. If they get any sort of power in their hands, things are going to start looking really scary for Orion, especially because their roster is not really that strong. They only have one kind of full weapon on their team, and that's going to be Filthy with the M4.
And what's going to suck, though, here, too, is if they don't upgrade that SMG and shotgun. I mean, the FAMAS, I guess you get away with. But next round, Glaucoma's going to have rifles. So they don't want to lose anyone here. T, though, he does get one. Found with the trade back right now. And Capital T will be searching for the Deegan. He, went to switch it for some reason. Missing that shot, so it's all going to be him. Lowercase T here by himself. Swag 7 gets 2. That's a ton of cash in his pocket, so he actually could drop for SGM.
At least Orion, didn't quite fall flat on their face. As you mentioned, it would have been nice to do it with all 5 men still standing, but only losing one isn't too bad either. But now is where they truly get tested, and that will be with the full AK stack. Utility not quite perfect, but it's certainly enough for an execution or to kind of support yourself during a post plant. And so essentially Glaucoma, if they play things close to the chest, they have an excellent shot at winning this round, and that's where things get really scary for Orion. But of course Orion, they don't quite want that, finding 2 kills early on in the round and running away with the main advantage.
Yeah, they just need to fall back here a little bit here. Don't push the issue. With Ante so low on HP, they really can't risk anything. He's in a good spot to let his teammates know what's happening. You can hear these guys clobbered around out on the outside right now. 3 members remain. They do have a Molotov left over on Glockoma and 2 smokes, rather. It's possible if they're able to sneak down inside of Secret here and get this bomb planted. I don't think anybody's on the B site. No, there isn't. No Orion boys are there at all. If they can just walk
in quietly, that'd be a huge, huge failure from the Orion defense right now. And let's see how long it takes them to kind of realize that. They do have SGM over in ramp, but of course that's not quite going to be enough. He's not going to be able to stop them. He should be in a good spot to maybe get a couple kills while they're trying to get into position for the post plant. But that bomb's going to go down because they just didn't rotate in time.
I feel like SGM should have pushed up a little earlier there. Maybe played one of those door angles.
That
AK
definitely would have been a
shot,
smart idea. And because they were able to get to the bomb site uncontested, T in an excellent spot to just cut off the rotation. And now it's an even 3-on-3, of course. And Glaucoma actually has the utility where they have a really good... they have the utility advantage, essentially. Filthy does have the flash and the smoke, but there were a couple Molotovs and smokes down from Glaucoma, just kind of holding off Orion for a little bit more than is convenient. And with Pal finding the kill on an Ante, things are falling apart for them on the retake very quickly. T and T each going to find a kill of their own, and Glaucoma's taking that one, running away with it. Now Orion, they're in this really weird spot where they don't have quite a buy, but of course they're going to want to put weapons in their hands because they don't want to let Glaucoma get even closer to that 16th round. And so it looks like the buy-up is what they're going to choose to do, but that's a very questionable decision.
That's a big force up here. I feel like Ante should have let his teammates know that there was a few of them outside. There's only 3 guys left, and they were fighting the CTs. Like, they should have shown up on radar.
Failure.
And SGM should have pushed up from ramp, at least to hold one of the doors there. His teammates would have got over to the B side a little earlier. They might have been able to stop that from happening. But right now, it's over. Round 4 of the second half underway. And like you said, this force fight is crazy. The trading coming out here is Filthy staying alive somehow. He gets a couple shots off, and now it's just going to be a 2v2 with T very low HP. 15 for him. They're making their way over to the B side here. Psych. That bomb falls.
This round is the game. If T can pull this off, that's an easy win for his team. But with only 15 health, that's the situation that CZ loves, just picking off the wounded like that. And SGM going to manage to pull it out. Glockoma, of course, not by any means out of the game. They still have plenty of cushion between them and Orion. But that wasn't quite the easy cinch up that they might have wanted.
Take a look at the scoreboard here. We see that Pow and Capital T with 22 frags apiece. Tom Ford not doing too hot with 3. Part of the IGL, right? That's usually what they say.
We'll go with that. Sure.
Tough job, IGL.
You sound like the IGL on my last team.
Nobody appreciates what I do for you guys. Anyway, pistols here for Glockoma. T250s and CZs all around. No Deegs. Haven't seen any cool Deeg plays yet this match. Actually, you know what's cool about Glockoma right now is they're not throwing this round away. They're actually trying to strat this thing out. They have this lurker over on the A side trying to pick them off as they make their way over to the B.
Not the B.
Bumblebee. Oh my god, Powell lands another shot with the P250. He's keeping these folks busy outside. Another one falls by his hands. Gizzy does get the shot off, but now it's just going to be a 2v2, and these CZs up close and personal post-plant, man. This is a possibility for Glockoma to hold this off. I don't know.
Unfortunately, not quite able to.
I caster curse the rounds. That's what I do.
It's kind of my thing. I bet on it, and then I just enthusiastically root for the opposite team while I'm on the mic.
There we go. Well, I don't know. A little bit of a comeback here. I wouldn't say that it's. I don't know. They got a long road ahead of them. You know, they're still 6 rounds behind. Can't really give up any space to Glockoma. Now it's going to be a huge buy here. Op in hand. Decent amount of utility, but AK is around otherwise. So if Glockoma has a chance to pick up any round, it's going to be this one.
That's the thing, too. If you're Glockoma, you know in your head, like, we can give up some rounds here. It's not super important that we win this. If we think we'll have a better chance, if we lose this, allow ourselves to lose this, and then come back even stronger later, they can do that. They have the freedom to do that. And just being able to make that decision is a huge advantage that's often kind of understated.
Sorry, I was thinking about something. I was thinking about life.
Suddenly very deep as Glockoma losing a man early on in the round before the minute has passed. T, he's going to be able to find Gizzy, though, just to kind of even things out. And there's a lot more action going on at the B site than we saw in the first half. Help, though, he's in a pretty big position to make some huge plays here, and we'll see that as he takes the headshot on the T, and Anti will follow it up as well. Glockoma not looking nearly as dominant as they were in the first half, but that's not to say June couldn't pull out the 1v3 here, although it certainly won't be easy. He comes around the corner, running into help.
Ooh.
Can't do anything about it.
A little bit of lag on my end there on that one.
A little bit. ESEA's GoTV, not always perfect.
Well, Glockoma, I don't think they're going to be able to buy much here. Maybe some P250s buy down to 2K. Their loss bonus at this point, not too bad. I think they'll get 2,400 if they lose this one here, 2,900. So they'll be able to get a buy off next round. It isn't going to be the best in the world. They probably won't even have op money unless they go glass cannon. Get the bomb plant here would be huge for them. You end up losing the round, but
glass cannon though, not quite as much of a death sentence on T as it is on CT. On CT, because you're holding that angle, you're going to be in a predictable spot. You want to be able to kind of absorb a couple shots. T though, because you're popping out, you got to be on the surprise. You can kind of afford to die on the first shot. If you miss the shot anyway, you're already dead. That being said, already a moot point. SGM playing the anti-eco perfectly, sitting back at range and picking people off one at a time, and that's how you play ecos the clean way that doesn't lose you a single man.
Well, they needed that for sure. Their economy wasn't very good. I mean, that round there, you could see they're all over 4K here, except for SGM, but it's pretty close, so they should have enough here. But when you look at these top fraggers on the side of Glockoma, like, somebody who only has 3 kills, you got 2 guys that have over 20 kills, okay, great, but, you know, if you're in a situation where you have to rely on Tom Ford to pick up a kill, like, it's probably not going to happen. You know, it's got to suck for them to think of, you know, one of their players as this sort of ball and chain right now, holding them back a little bit. You know, if he even had 10, 12 kills, this game probably be over.
That is true, but it sort of reminds me of like Astralis and GSM. You have to kind of, as a player, know to not look at the leaderboard, but as I say that, Anti coming up from Secret and grabbing the 3 kills off the spray down, that was insane, and making it that much harder for Glockoma to come back into the game, at least on this round.
I'm surprised nobody was watching Secret when they had 3 guys T-red there. You'd think one of them would be watching that angle. I think
definitely one of those situations where everybody just assumes somebody else is doing it and it doesn't get done.
Happens quite a bit here. So top 4 in June. All that remain here to try to stop this 10th round point for Orion. They're looking pretty solid right now. Look at that blue gem Anti's got.
Isn't she purdy?
A lot of blue on that AK.
Now the
I always
bomb.
wondered how lucky those were that get one of those out of a case and sell it for $500.
The bomb, with its 1 remaining escort, is working its way outside, and I'm wondering what they have in mind here. They're kind of sneaking through, and I like how they're not making any noise. The one advantage you have in a situation like this is the element of surprise, but of course that's going to be lost. Caught off guard, he'll fall down, and now help. He's got a pretty decent idea of where Tomford is, and so, as a result, he's going to eat a lot of nade damage and then fall down, giving away his position to SGM, and giving away the round.
Yeah, I picked up a couple AKs on that one as well. Glockoma, unfortunately, not going to have enough cash to buy up on this one either. I feel like, well, they'll get 3,400 for this next one. I think they could buy down even lower here. I think they could have went with like an SMG force up, although I don't know what difference it would make. I mean, the P250 and CZ are almost as effective as a UMP is. Way cheaper.
Let's not get crazy.
I mean, I don't know, man. And the P250s and CZ are nuts. They're insanely overpowered.
They are very, very good, and for as overpowered as they are, it definitely does make force buys just so much more interesting than they otherwise would be. Maybe to an unfair extent, but still it makes it fun as a viewer to watch. Filthy, he is going to get flashed out. He's got to fall. The same thing is going to happen in June. He doesn't have to fall, but he does allow those terrorists maybe into the bomb site a little bit more than he would want. But because the rest of the 5 CTs are there by now, it doesn't really make much of a difference. Glockoma going to fall. For them, that's kind of just the get it out of the way so you can put guns in your hand round, and that's exactly what's happening now. T with the AWP. Let's see what he can do with it on the T side. He was very effective as a CT operator. Let's see if he can carry that over.
Glockoma only 1 round they've picked up so far this half with 2 bomb plants. I think Orion probably had at least 1 more bomb plant than them at this point. I don't know if that's saying much, but
I don't
like
know if that's
Glockoma,
saying much, but yeah.
Well, they just can't. They're not able to get on these sites. They're just they're dying on these sites. Where at least Orion was able to get on these sites and get some bomb plants down here and there. I don't know what the strats are. This map is just terrible. I don't know. Hoping they put Dust 2 back in. They redo this map. Everybody's saying it's going to be Mirage or Cobblestone, but I wish it was this one.
You know, despite the fact that it might deserve it, that's a matter of opinion. I can't see Valve kind of losing all the mileage. You know what I mean? And that's just to say it's a brand new map. I think they'd rather take an older one off that people might be getting tired of as opposed to something that people are just unhappy with.
Yeah, it'll probably be Mirage. Maybe Overpass.
Mirage or Cache would be my guesses.
I don't know. I mean, what could they change on Cache? That map is like so
perfect.
Yeah.
T walking through the smoke. That smoke, though, just didn't fall far enough in, and so it leaves that big gap that he takes advantage of. And T's going to fall down, and now with only 30 seconds left on the map, the terrorists, they need to kind of get a plan together. They're not even carrying the bomb, which is going to be a problem, but Tommy comes in, He gets one entry. Filthy going to trade him out, but that entry should be huge. Antito with the flank. Pow gets the cover really quick, but it doesn't matter. June able to turn around and take care of him. Filthy abusing the spot just like June did in the first half and finding 2 kills.
Nice.
And Orion, they've made a much more convincing comeback than I would have expected them to be capable of.
CT side's pretty damn solid, man. Like I was saying, like they're just preventing Glockoma from even getting on these sites and getting the bomb planted at all. At least Orion was able to get on there. Some of their post plants, you know, they weren't able to hold off the retake from the Glockoma guys. Orion's just shutting them down right now. The Glockoma has to get on these the site and get the bomb down. These put themselves in an advantageous position where they're in a post plant defense rather than just trying to stay alive to get on the damn site. I'm not sure what they could do to change it because it seems like Orion's shifting where they're playing all the time.
And that's one of the reasons why they've been so successful with CT. For example, look at Anti. He's barely been using that spot this whole half. He goes there once, and he gets 3 kills out of it. Orion tying it up 13-13. Getting so much more mileage out of the CT side than I ever would have hoped before. I'd love to listen to their team speak right now. I'd love to hear what they're saying right now.
That play from Anti, like, sucks if you're a terrorist, right? Like, you don't expect that crap to happen. I mean, that's such an aggressive push there. There's not a lot of cover. You don't have much support. I mean, you got one guy maybe in garage who can help you out a little bit. But, I mean, the fact that he just fucks out 3 of them because they're not anticipating that him to be there. And that op shot from T missing, that was huge.
Both offers whiffing. Very unusual. But it keeps things even. Gizzy, though, with the other AWP on the other side of the map, he'll find a kill on a T. The offer who had rotated around trying to get a kill in a different spot. And unfortunately for him, not going to find it. Falling down and making things that much harder for his team. And Gizzy, that was a great shot. Now Pow with the Gleal cleaning up on an Anti. Things are just looking so good for Orion. I want to know where these players were in the first half. Do you think they decided to turn their monitors on, make things fair?
Decided map, man. So insane. Like, it's so hard to get on these sites. I mean, look at A site. How do you get in there? Outside and through Squeak Door. That's it. And those entrances are watched like hawkeyes. I think maybe Glockoma should take advantage of Catwalk a little bit more. Put some pressure towards ramp, try to split the defense of Orion up a little bit. Seems like they're just man-piling on one area. They don't really have any lurk play going on.
Man,
like,
look at Gizzy with the op, though. His impact shouldn't be understated, even though it's just in this past couple of rounds. He's really been cleaning up. And now Glockoma is so weak in the economy, they're almost certainly going to allow Orion to get to match point. And from there, Orion has a couple of gun rounds to kind of figure things out. And they shouldn't need it, judging by how many rounds in a row they've been able to win.
It's going to be a weird force up here for Glockoma as they're trying to prevent this 15th round from coming on in. So pistols, 1 AK, and a scout in the hands of T. They're in desperate mode right now. Still, only 1 round picked up for them on this T side. Orion's just shutting them down. Nice dump piece there from T. Landed right on Anti. No sneaky beaky for you this round, buddy. There's that man advantage pick they were looking for. So now, what are they going to do with this?
Man, this is when they go for the force by Glockoma. Odd decision, to say the least. Now, SGM, excuse me, with the op, he's not going to be able to get the kill, but he does get the information, and that's going to kind of tip the terrorist's hand. And with all of their players kind of clustered in the same area, that's going to be a huge problem for them now that their position's been given away.
It's all about time right now. So about a minute left on the clock. Orion doesn't want to give anything away. They got 3 guys essentially on the A site right now as smokes start to fly for the defense, and SGM holding a very passive spot with this op. But if they come in here, he should be able to pick off 1. But T hard swing in right now. To hold this angle, another dump piece from him as SGM falls. So now big advantage here. 2 players up on the side of Glockoma as they're making their way over to the B site for this plant. Now, Ryan has plenty of cash here, so I think he should probably go for this one no matter what. They have all the money in the world on the CT side.
Yeah, especially because even though the op and the AK have been picked up, they're still at a significant, they being Glockoma, still at a significant weapon disadvantage. Now, Gizzy trying to even things out, but T, of course, with the op making things work. It's a 2-on-2, the health advantage to Glockoma, but the weapon advantage, especially in terms of diversity, and that's that M4 being so useful, that'll fall firmly into Orion's hands. Now, they do have time to figure this out. Kits on both hands, but Gizzy somehow manages to get that kill. Not at all what I expected.
They got
He's the last man alive.
Izzy has a smoke here. They should smoke. Oh no!
All right, here's the problem. They're taking 2 1v1s, and that's absolutely in this circumstance unacceptable. Now, Help, he needs to be smart. And I don't really think he was smart. I think he just got lucky. But either way, he's going to be able to take the round. The kit going to give him plenty of time to get that defuse. And Orion securing match point in Glockoma. Their morale just won.
Yeah, with Help being by the doors there, I think he should have popped that smoke instead of taking the engagement with the op, like you said.
Almost
like, taking
certainly.
1v1v1s at the end there was not what to do there. The smoke would have helped because then it would have forced that opper to push out one of those entrances. He had somebody there for the crossfire in case he tried to push. Could have stuck the defuse. The much safer play for sure. Ain't gonna matter now as Orion gets the 15th round of the board, so it is gonna be match point. And this time Glockoma though does have the armaments for the defense here. Plenty of utility. Even have a Zeus on the hands of Heath.
And buying the Zeus is just, it's fuck you money. And that's what it is. Glockoma hardly in a position to be giving it away, but they also recognize that there's no point to saving. Pow opening it up, and that's exactly the kind of opening you need in a situation like this. Anti with the quick rotation, unfortunately not able to make anything happen with someone on top of his head, almost burns to death. Luckily for him, able to escape. And Tomford, of course, going to be falling down to SGM, who's just a monster as we go into the second half. Help managing to find the kill on a Pow, and now at a man disadvantage, Glockoma holding this retake is going to be extremely difficult for them. And of course, they've lost almost the past 10 rounds in a row. This is not where they're going to be able to mount the defense. And Orion with one of the most impressive comebacks that I have ever commentated for.
Yeah, very fantastic play. And, you know, I'm not trying to put the blame on anybody at all on either team. Everyone that is on this server is probably better than me fundamentally. But the fact that Tom went 4 and like 20, like that's gotta suck, right? Like you need
his team is
you need
pissed.
a 5th guy. You can't play a 4v5, especially T-side nuke. You need every gun able to shoot people. You know,
Funnily
like,
enough,
I know
you had mentioned that before, and that was when Glockoma was still doing really well. And at that point, it was just, you know, wasn't really a big deal. You had mentioned the game would probably be over by now if he was performing well, but this is still their game. But the fact that he still didn't turn up as the tide really turned against them, that was huge and certainly very disheartening. And that's not even to say he's a bad player, but when you have such a poor first half like that, it can be hard to get your mind in a state where it's kind of suited to rebound.
I think he only got 1 kill on T-side.
That's just unacceptable.
Like him not fragging very well, it probably was causing some animosity in the roster. You know, people were probably being rude or, you know, toxic to each other in the game, like trying to figure out what's what. Well, you got a guy that's not killing anyone and he's dying every single round right away, like that's a problem. You know, 4v5 T-side on nuke, like you're not going to pick up maps. It ain't going to happen that way. You got to have somebody who can frag at least a little bit, man. And for him just to get shut down, I mean, Nuke maybe wasn't his map, maybe he had an off day, maybe his mouse broke. Could be a million excuses and reasons why his performance was so poor here, but it doesn't matter. Orion doesn't care. They pick up this win, and now they're 3-2 in ESEA Season 26 main, so I'm sure they're happy about that, regardless of how they achieved it.
Good work for them, and although we did point out some failures, definitely some great showings from both teams on one half or the other. And of course, great showing from your commentary team. I am Mazer. Joining me tonight was Eisen. Thank you so much for joining us and watching this match. Make sure to check us both out on Twitter as well as CSGM matches and both teams.
Yeah, so if you guys want to check out CSGM Official 2 and 3, we have some games going on there if you guys want some good Counter-Strike, good commentating. So that's going to be it here for us. This is Eisen Mazer and Sharp with CSGM, and as always, you frag.
We cast.